Hamas is an organization with tremendous financial capacity. When you move around in Gaza, you see the size of Hamas's terror infrastructure, and it is very clear Hamas obtained a lot of money over the years from countries around the world and from individual organizations because the donors believed it was invested in the citizens of the Gaza Strip. This did not happen, and due to the IDF's operation inside the Gaza Strip, we understand what happened with this money that Hamas promised to the residents. But since the beginning of the fighting, we have been busy uncovering and destroying hundreds of kilometers of terrorist tunnels that were built by Hamas with the money that was designated to develop the Palestinian people and their future. These tunnels are long and branching underground infrastructures which the terrorist organization Hamas uses to transport weapons and terrorists, as well as hold Israeli hostages underground. This hospital.
You can see here arches. These arches are very, very unique. It's a unique structure. It's only used for underground terror facilities for Hamas. These cement arches are not needed when building hospitals. They are used to build underground city of terror, an underground metro of tunnels. We have watched Hamas use these arches to build tunnels for many years. Instead of building homes for Gazans, he built this metro over hundreds of kilometers underneath Gaza and underneath places like hospitals and mosques.
A variety of materials were found linking the entire hospital to Hamas activity. Inside the enclosed internal compound of the hospital, a white Toyota van was found, exactly like the ones that were used by Hamas terrorists on October the 7th. On the vehicle were found various weapons, including explosive devices and weapons. Again, this is inside a hospital in Gaza. Also in the same area of the hospital, another vehicle was found, this time a Toyota Corolla type car. The vehicle had a yellow license plate, exactly like the ones Israelis have on their cars. The vehicle belonged to the family of the late Samir Talaka, who was kidnapped and murdered by Hamas. The vehicles that were found are a direct link between the hospital and the events on the 7th of October, in which Hamas terror organization conducted a terror attack against Israeli civilians in the areas surrounding the Gaza Strip. The Indonesian hospital is another example of Hamas making use of civilian infrastructure in order to operate and realize its goals. The IDF took over a school and found in its basement a weapons stockpile the size of a basketball court, filled with ammunitions, missiles, and other military equipment designed to carry out Hamas's terror operations against Israel. I'm talking about a Hamas tunnel filled with computer servers that runs underneath an UNRWA elementary school and an UNRWA headquarters. Not suspicious at all, huh? The route of the tunnels was built with a depth of 18 meters and a length of 700 meters and contained several side doors. Intelligence material of a wide variety was located during the operation. Do they really expect to be taken seriously when they say they were unaware of the vast amounts of electricity that was sent off from their systems to be used by the Hamas computer networks underneath their headquarters? Do they expect us to take them seriously when they say they just didn't notice the huge piles of weapons and ammunition Hamas had stored in these buildings? Well, I don't believe that they didn't notice Hamas operatives carrying all these weapons and storing them inside closets and rooms in their facilities without noticing. Just doesn't make sense to me. Listen, There's no room for UNRWA to claim innocence, and there's no moral ambiguity here. This is conclusive, tangible evidence of how UNRWA allows Hamas to use its infrastructure. If they really didn't know, it's because they didn't want to know. The terrorist network are intertwined with everything in the Gaza Strip: kindergartens, schools, hospitals, religious buildings, ambulances, containers, even buildings of UNRWA. UNRWA is the UN association that helps Palestinian refugees. Everything is infected and serves a role in the Hamas terrorist network. In Gaza, even the hotels have terror tunnels. Many weapons were found in the underground infrastructure under the hotel, including AK-47s, a variety of explosives, and drones. I'm telling you this from within Gaza. Everywhere you step, you find a Hamas terror tunnel. They have been digging for close to 20 years. It's no wonder why the Palestinian people are so poor in Gaza, because Hamas used all of their money in order to dig underground terror tunnels and identify a mega underground tunnel of Hamas. This is a tunnel that is so big, it spread 4 kilometers and reaches the depth of 50 meters below the ground level. It has dozens of exit points, and some of them reach only 400 meters from the Israeli-Erez border crossing between Gaza and Israel. The tunnel is a complex underground maze that is very hard to navigate in. The tunnel is equipped with the sewer, electricity, phones, blast doors that meant preventing Israeli forces from entering. The tunnel is so big that even vehicles can drive underground in it. The IDF revealed multiple ammunitions, weapons, and other military equipment that belonged to Hamas in this underground terror tunnel. Hamas invested millions of dollars in this project. I wonder where Hamas got the money for this project when the rest of its civilian Palestinian people are suffering without any food or clean water in the Gaza Strip. A few days ago, a few terrorists were identified in the tunnel while the IDF was scanning it. The terrorists were neutralized by the IDF forces. After scanning the tunnel, a central space was discovered in which Israeli hostages were kept inside 5 small prison cells. During the operation, the fighters of the brigade located many weapons, sniper weapons, RPG launchers, AK-47s, pistols, and rifles. The IDF discovered a new level of Hamas depravity. A terror tunnel built by the terrorist group was found underneath the Bnei Suwaila cemetery in the heart of Khan Yunis. The tunnel running underneath the Bnei Suwaila cemetery is about 1 kilometer long and runs at a depth of 20 meters underground. It is only one section of a massive underground network of tunnels that Hamas created in order to plan, train, and execute terror attacks against Israel. It is also meant to control their own Palestinian people, who they say they care about so much. During these battles, several new tunnel shafts were discovered and destroyed, along with large quantities of weapons and ammunition. Houses of Hamas leadership, the IDF was able to find plans and the locations of special missile factories that were creating chemical weapons that were meant to be fired towards Israel during this battle. During scans that were carried out in the area, the forces uncovered an underground terrorist city that is part of the tunnel system of the terrorist organization Hamas and includes a strategic tunnel route connecting to distant places in the Gaza Strip. During these hours, the tunnels are being investigated. Last week, IDF soldiers found 4.2 million Israeli shekels in cash in a suitcase at the home of a terrorist operative. And since the beginning of this war, The IDF found more than 12 million Israeli shekels, and this amount was seized and taken to Israel. Just imagine, Gaza and the Gazan population are so poor and need help, food, water, clothing, but yet Hamas finds the way to provide its militants with money. With these funds and the neglection of the local population, Hamas has created a situation where the most profitable thing in the Gaza Strip is to be a terrorist. This is the best salary, to recruit as many terrorist fighters as possible. Muhammad Jalamana. First, he was 27 years old and has been living in the Jenin refugee camp for many years. He maintained contacts with the Hamas headquarters abroad and was even injured when a car bomb he was helping to prepare for an immediate attack against Israel exploded in his face. He was also involved in the transfer of weapons and ammunition to terrorist operatives in order to promote shooting attacks, and he was part of the group which planned attacks similar to the events of the October 7th, 2023 against Israel.